Alright, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown, and the show is called Redemption Rehab. Today, we're talking about our weekly waiver wire report. We're going to show you the players you need to pick up on your waiver wire to help you win a championship in fantasy football. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to the chalkboard and check out the facts. Okay, here we are looking at a box score behind me from a website we like to use, an affiliate of ours called RT Sports. This is known as a box score. We've got some players we want to show you because what they did in week 1 of the NFL season, starting with this guy over here, Kyren Williams, running back. Look what he did. 15 carries, 52 yards with 2 touchdowns. Everybody in your leagues are going to be going after this guy. He is actually the handcuff, as you can see here, to Cam Akers. Cam Akers is starting running back, but this kid, Kyren Williams, has some standalone value. Why? Hey, he scored 20-some points. I will warn you, though, don't spend a lot of money on him because it's not like Cam Akers is hurt. The coach for the Rams likes to mess with fantasy football players like Bill Belichick. You never know who he's going to play at running back. So be very careful, but everybody's going after that guy. Since we're on this box score, let me show you 2 other guys you should go after. I'll tell you right now, man, this guy here, Puka Nacua. I'll tell you what, this kid's out of BYU, and he's a rookie. And I'll tell you what, he's 6'2", 205 pounds. Check this out, 10 receptions, 119 yards. Didn't get in any touchdowns. I can tell you right now, man, you better go out and get him because this guy's going to be a player all year, but he's going to be a big-time player while Cooper Kupp's out the first 4 weeks of the NFL season. So if you need a wide receiver, go out and get him. And I also like Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell's been with the Rams for about 2 or 3 years. He's only he's not very tall either. He might be 5'8", 165 pounds, 170 pounds, soaking wet. So he is kind of small. Did have a big game against the Rams. One of the catches, 45 yards. So he had 6 receptions, 119 yards, and you can see here long, 44 yards. I really like these guys, and if you can go out and get any one of them, I would suggest you do. They're going to be hot commodities on the waiver wire. So if I was you, I'd go out and get them. Let's take some look at some other guys I really like this week. Okay, this is a box score behind me from the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. I'll tell you what, we got some players in this that'll be on your waiver wire. Like this guy right here, Rashawn Johnson. He's a rookie from Texas. He played behind Bijan Robinson. I'll tell you what, I really like him. In our NFL draft preview show we did back in April, we told you we liked this guy. Depending upon what team he went to a team that likes to run the ball. Look what he did. As a backup to Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman, he rushed 5 times for 20 yards, and he managed to score a touchdown. I'll tell you what else he does well. Down here, check it out. He catches the ball. 6 catches for 35 yards on 7 targets. I'll tell you what, I like this guy. He's got some standalone value. If you need a running back and can afford to stash somebody on your bench, this is someone you need to go out and get today. You might be able to get him on your waiver wire. Most of the leagues I'm in, he's already gone. I tell you what, there's somebody else that's probably gone, but I wanted to mention him to you since we're on this box score. It's this guy over here. How about Romeo Doubs? I mean, he played injured, but he still had 4 catches for 26 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 5 targets. I'll tell you right now, he's a good player. Christian Watson did not play in this game, so he's going to play second fiddle to him. There are some other guys in this box score I want to mention to you. It might be on your waiver wire. Is this guy here, Luke Musgrave. He caught 3 of his 4 targets for 50 yards. He's a rookie, and I'll tell you what, don't be surprised if he plays well this year. And you can't forget about this guy up here, Jordan Love. He might be a quarterback on the rise. 15 to 27. He's a little over 50%. But I can tell you right now, 3 touchdowns. And he can run the ball. He rushed the ball right here, as you can see, 3 times for 12 yards. I'll tell you what, he's no Aaron Rodgers. He's only in his maybe second time he's ever played in an NFL game. But I do like him, and you should go out and get one of these guys on your waiver wire because they're going to light it up for years to come. Let's take a look at some other guys I really like. give you some great guys we liked on the waiver wire. This guy could be the hottest commodity yet, and his name is right here, Jakobi Meyers. I tell you what, he used to play for the New England Patriots. He signed like a $30 million deal out there in Las Vegas for the Raiders, and he went out and got 9 receptions for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns on 10 targets. He was the guy. He played better than Devontae Adams, and I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for a concussion at the end of the game that may keep him out this week, I'd go out and get him. If you get a chance and you have the room on your bench and you can stash this guy for maybe a week or two, because he might not play this week, concussion protocol thing, Jakobi Meyers is someone I'd go out and get. Let's take a look at some other guys we really like. Okay, behind me we're taking a look at the Carolina-Atlanta box score. I'll tell you what, there's some players here that are probably on your waiver wire you should go out and pick up. How about Tyler Algier right here, man? Look what he did. 15 carries, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The guy you want's Bijan Robinson, but you know what? Tyler Algier's no plump. He's available in some leagues. I suggest you go out and pick him up. And I'll tell you what, I don't like a lot of people on Carolina because of the rookie quarterback situation. But I'll tell you what, how do you pass up Hayden Hurst? 5 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, if he's going to get you 16, 17 points, which his favorite target clearly might be Hayden Hurst, you might want to go pick him up at tight end. And I'll tell you what, don't count out Chuba Hubbard. You can see he's second fiddle or handcuffed to Miles Sanders, but Miles Sanders gets hurt a lot. And if he does, man, I'll tell you what, Chuba Hubbard, 9 carries for 60 yards. And he can catch the ball, too. 2 catches for 9 yards. These are guys that I like. I think you should kind of go out and maybe consider picking some of these guys up. Let me show you some other guys I really like. Okay, here behind us we got the Baltimore Ravens against the Houston Texans box score. I'll tell you what, I do like some people on both these teams, but I got to address this running back situation. J.K. Dobbins out for the year, tore his Achilles. If you got him on your team and you didn't take his handcuff, Gus Edwards, you should go out and pick him up and put him on your roster. They also have Melvin Gordon on their practice squad, and what I'm hearing is they might bring in some other running backs like a Leonard Fournette, like a Kareem Hunt. I'll tell you what, that's important. You spend a lot of money on picking up Gus Edwards or even this guy, Justice Hill. Look, he had 8 carries for 9 yards, but he did score 2 touchdowns. They like to run the ball when they get into the end zone. Lamar Jackson takes some of those carries away from these guys because he likes to score. So I'll tell you what, I'd be very careful here. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on anybody in the running back room in Baltimore right now until you see what they do. They may go out and pick somebody up, like I said. And another situation we got to talk about is the Indianapolis Colts situation. Let's take a look at their box score. Okay, here's another sticky situation for people. Jonathan Taylor is out till week 5. They may trade him. I'm hearing he wants to come back and play, but then the Colts may trade him, so keep an eye on that. But basically, until then, you got your guy over here, Deion Jackson, who is the starter. Not very good, man. 13 carries, 14 yards, no touchdowns. Why people are decent was he got 5 catches for 14 yards. So in a PPR league, he might have got you 7 or 8 points. But there's a problem here. None of these guys are any good. Jake Funk, not very good up here. You know, Evan Hall got hurt after his first carry. So these are guys I'm not interested in. But Zach Moss is coming back. He's probably on your waiver wire. I suggest you go out and pick him up. Why? He's a 3-down back. He's used to carrying the ball, and I'll tell you what, don't be surprised if he carries the Colts running back game for the next 3 weeks until Jonathan Taylor either comes back or is traded. Let's go take a look at some other guys I really like. Okay, here we are taking a look at Philadelphia New England Patriots box score from last week. I'll tell you what, there's a few guys you need to keep your eye out. I'll tell you what, Mac Jones, if you need a quarterback, maybe yours isn't up to par, or maybe he's just got hurt. Mac Jones, how do you beat this? 35 of 54, 316 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, not necessarily his fault, but I could tell you right now, that's a lot of points. If you get a chance to make Mac Jones as a backup quarterback, I'd put him on there. There are some other players. Take a look at this guy. He's throwing the ball to Kendrick Bourne. I'll tell you right now, Kendrick Bourne caught 6 passes for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns on 11 targets. I mean, 11 targets, that's a lot for Kendrick Bourne. I think you got to consider picking him up. They were missing some players at wide receiver, so don't be surprised if he's not as productive in the future if they get healthy, because they got some players that aren't healthy at wide receiver. We do kind of like this Demario Douglas, 4 catches, 40 yards. He's a rookie. I wouldn't be picking him up, but I keep him on the watch list. And I'll tell you what, a guy that looked like a player was Hunter Henry. I kind of watched the game. You know, he had 5 catches for 56 yards on 6 targets, and he did manage to catch a touchdown, as you can see right here. He is a team captain. I'd be considered picking him up if you need help at tight end. And as far as the Philadelphia Eagles, most of their players are picked on your teams, on your in your leagues. But how about Kenneth Gainwell? He looked like the starting running back to me. I mean, 14 carries, 54 yards. Not too impressive, but I'll tell you what, 4 catches for another 20 yards right there. I'll tell you what, he might be worth stashing on your bench. I'm not sure why Rashad Penny wasn't active. Maybe they're saving him for later in the year. And you can see right here, DeAndre Swift did nothing. Did nothing. So I'd be really careful. Somebody may cut DeAndre Swift or Rashad Penny. I'd probably pick those guys up and stick them on my bench for later this year when they do. Let me give you some more players you need to know about. Okay, I gave you a bunch of players you should probably go out and consider picking up on your waiver wire. Now, here's some players I think you should consider picking up and putting on your watch list in case they start to produce week in and week out, or maybe you just have a need because of injury or whatever, and you got to fill in a spot and none of those other guys are available. Let's check out these guys. Starting with Joshua Kelly of the Chargers. He had 16 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. He's the handcuff to Austin Eckler. But if he's available in your league, you might want to consider putting him on your bench and stashing him for later in the year. Some wide receivers I like. How about Robert Woods down in Houston? He caught 6 balls for 57 yards on 10 targets. Or how about Rashid Shaheed down in New Orleans? Man, this kid had a game. He had 5 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown on 6 targets. He also ran the ball twice for 11 yards. Or how about Zay Jones of the Jacksonville Jaguars? He had 5 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown on 7 targets. Some other guys I really like. How about this guy up here, Josh Reynolds of Detroit? He only had 4 catches for 80 yards on 7 targets, but he's a veteran, and I'd keep an eye on him in case you run into a situation where you need a wide receiver for a week. And how about the guys from the Pittsburgh Steelers? I hear Deontay Johnson might not play on Monday night because of a hamstring. I hear Pat Freiermuth is hurt, so they're going to need to throw the ball to somebody. How about Calvin Austin? He's been in the league for a couple years. He had 6 catches for 37 yards on 6 targets. Or how about a veteran like Allen Robinson of Pittsburgh? I'll tell you what, man, this kid caught 5 balls for 64 yards on 8 targets. He's someone else I'd be looking at if you need a wide receiver. And if you need a tight end, I'll tell you what, man, go out and get yourself some Sam Laporta. He's a rookie tight end over in Detroit. He had 5 catches for 39 yards on 5 targets. Or how about this veteran, Zach Ertz down in Arizona? He had 6 catches for 21 yards on 10 targets. That means he's the focus of their passing attack, so go get yourself some Zach Ertz. Or how about Logan Thomas? Guy can never stay healthy, but when he is, the Washington Commanders like to throw the ball to him. He had 4 catches for 43 yards on 8 targets. And if you want some deep sleepers, how about Adam Troutman? For Denver, he had 5 catches for 34 yards on 5 targets. Or even Jake Ferguson down in Dallas. He had 2 catches for 11 yards on 7 targets. Hey man, that's a lot of people. We kind of did that rapid fire, but I'll tell you what, got to keep these videos as short as possible. And I'll tell you what, you need a kicker, you need a defense, or maybe a backup quarterback. We got those guys for you too. Starting with this guy. How about Baker Mayfield? I mean, he was 21 of 34 for 173 yards, 2 TDs. He also ran the ball 8 times for 11 yards. We talked about Mac Jones earlier. He'd be worth picking up as a backup quarterback. And if Jordan Love's on your waiver wire, go out and get him. Guys, we like it. If you need a kicker, I'll tell you what, Nick Folk used to play for the New England Patriots. They got cut. He goes to Tennessee and kicks 5 for 5, scores 20 points in field goals. Nick Folk of the Tennessee Titans. How about Jake Elliott for the Philadelphia Eagles, man? He kicked 4 for 4 on field goals, so he got a lot of points. And how about Jason Sanders down in Miami? He was 3 for 3 on his field goal attempts, so he'd have got you about 10 or 11 points. And how about the new guy on the block down in New Orleans, Blake Group? He was 3 for 3 on his field goal attempts down in New Orleans. But you're not going to win fantasy football if you don't have a good defense. I like to stream defenses. Why? Because I go based on matchups. But if you would like to have a defense to keep all year, why not go with the Cleveland Browns? I mean, they held Joe Burrow to 83 yards passing with those wide receivers. Now, of course, it was in a rainstorm, so it was difficult to catch or throw the ball, but still, their defense is really good. Or how about the Green Bay Packers, man? They pretty much shut it down. The Chicago Bears, who have a decent offense. It's not a powerhouse, but, Green Bay's defense is pretty good. So if you'd like to get a defense and keep them all year, but if you want to stream a defense, I'll tell you what, whoever's playing the Houston Texans or maybe the Arizona Cardinals, I'd probably stream whoever's playing against them or even against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, when rookie quarterbacks come in the league, they make a lot of mistakes, and you can take advantage of that in fantasy football. Okay, there you have it. Those are all guys I would consider picking up on the weekly waiver wire report for week 2 of the NFL season. I'm Buster Brown. The show is called Redemption Rehab. Good luck.